Hiya folks, we're back on the Yamaha FS1E DX again. Going to continue stripping this down today. We had an email, or a comment rather, in one of the other previous Fizzy videos about one of the previous owners said this was his bike back in 1999. And he cleared up a few issues for me. I'll just show you what he actually cleared up. You might remember the other side where it had the key operated side panel that was fitted onto there. The reason why he said that was he had that because the actual thread to the main bolt, which I think is that one there, he said that actually stripped out. So the other way he did was just to buy the lock mechanism as another side panel and do that. What I'll probably end up doing is I may fill that up with some weld and then re-drill and tap the hole, because I've got an original side panel to go back on there. So that's what I'm going to do there. And one other thing which he's made a statement about as well, he said this was the rear wheel off of a Honda SS50. So I'm not too sure if that is the case. Those of you Fizzy buffs out there would know if this looks like a standard FS1E wheel. There you go, that's both sides of it there. He said it's off of an SS50 Honda, so I'm not too sure about that. And he also said there was quite a few parts used on this from the later FS1 model. Now I'm not too sure what part they was, because the frame obviously is a 596. It might be things like, I don't know, maybe indicators, maybe, I don't know. Everything else looks pretty standard. I'm not too sure about the forks at the moment. I'll have a look at them and make sure they're the original forks to go on there, because I think the later model ones would fit in the yokes there. I will be checking on them to make sure that they are the right forks for this. But as far as other pieces and bits and pieces, I'm not actually too sure what would have come off an FS1, because everything there looks to me to be a standard. Obviously the engine is I think it's off of an older model, because it ain't the original engine that come with it. But that was the thing that was on the other side. Look, the lock mechanism, which would have been from an earlier type where the key ignition was on the side panel. So as I say, I'll be doing away with that and putting it back to normal. The keys on this model obviously is up there, so that's what we've got there. That loom looks to be intact, so there's no reason why I can't use that again, but it has been tapped into on that blue and white cable there for this brown to go somewhere. I'm not too sure what that is, but that's the wiring. I've got a new loom to go in here, as you know, the main loom there, and if I need any other parts of the looms, I'll obviously source them new as well. So I've made an executive decision with regards to the black large parts, for example, like the frame and the swinging arm, maybe these bits here, I'm not too sure yet, but the main frame is definitely going to be painted and lacquered as it would have been original, and also the swinging arm as well. Smaller ancillary bits, as I say, like bracketry up here, these might be powder coated, I'm not too sure yet. Anyway, less of that, let's get this thing stripped down now so I can start getting it segmented up and also refurbished. So let's get on with it. Okay, here we go then. So just removing the rear wheel now. Again, I will check whether or not this wheel is off an SS50, but if it fits and it works, then it's going to be staying on. There's no need me spending extra money for parts that I don't need. Trying to undo some ancillary brackets here, and I'll try to keep everything in order. So I did put these new shock absorbers on, but they're coming off now. They're actually brand new if you watched the previous video when I put them on. So I'll just be taking them off, keeping all the nuts and bolts together, and as I say, where I can replace them, if they're corroded, I will be replacing. The swinging arm is only a 1-bolt affair that comes off pretty easily. Now over to the front wheel, again just taking off the old split pins, just removing this and obviously keeping all the spacers in place as well. All to be refurbished, probably new brake pads and all that will be going into this as well. So now undoing the top yoke, again this can be powder coated, I think parts like that don't really need to be painted. And then I'm onto the front forks, just undoing the 13mm pinch bolt there, and that slides the forks out. You may see the oil coming out there where I laid it down without the cap on, so a little spillage there I'll have to clear up. They will be stripped down anyway. Now the centre stand, that's going to come off. Only one little clip and a spring, comes off nice and easily. Now to take the front yoke out, there's ball bearings in this. This isn't tapered, tapered seats in this one, and I will be again replacing these as well. Right, well that didn't take too long actually, so quite easy to strip down one of these little mopeds. The one thing I did notice, he did say that it was one key fits everything. this key fits the steering lock, but here it doesn't appear to fit the helmet lock at all, and there's an Allen key to undo behind that, and it doesn't actually look like that's sitting properly on there. So whether that's the right one for this, I'm not too sure. So I've got a little bit of a predicament here that I probably need to get that off and maybe source another one, but to do that I've got to get that Allen key out. Hold on, there's 3 keys here. Hold on, what's this one here? Oh, hold on, here we go. Oh, there was a 3rd key there, I didn't notice, so that does undo it. So it's not one key fits all, it's one key does the ignition and the steering lock, and the other key does this. So I don't think this one is actually original. Right, so let's get an Allen key out. So I'm hoping to sort of get this sandblasted pretty quickly, and then we can obviously start to reassemble or clean up other bits and pieces. So there you go. I think it is the right one, but it wasn't sitting incorrectly. It wasn't sitting in there. There's a little dipple there which wasn't sitting in the hole there, but I do think that is the correct one for there anyway. So I can clip that back in and that screw won't fall out, as you can see, so that's handy. I will be putting new headstock bearings in there as well, so even though I've kept the ball bearings for that one just in case. But yeah, I don't know whether this had been disassembled at some point, because the top bolts was loose as well for the shock absorbers. So let's go around the other side and see if we can pull this loom out. Or it might be better to lay it down. I think there's a couple of components which are in here. I think this could be the coil which is bolted in here. They look like a couple of 10 mils there, so you can get your hand in there quite easily. So just to undo these two first, and hopefully the coil should pop out. So as I say, all in all, it's a pretty easy thing to strip down. Right, bring that back this way. Yeah, there we go, look, there's the coil there. I'll put them nuts back on there. And in here as well was a rectifier, which I'm going to have to probably change for a moderner type, because it was an old plate rectifier, which didn't look too clever, to be honest with you. So that's that. That should go down to the HT lead somewhere, wherever that is. There it is. Let's pull that out there. And that can come out of there. Where's that cable go? That single cable. Which, again, it is colour coded, black with a white stripe on it. But let's get this up here. Will I be able to get that right the way through there? Yep, there we go. So that's the coil set up there. And on there it's got FS on there. I don't know if this is one of the parts that the chap had actually changed for a 41 maybe. Anyway, that's that. The rest of the loom looks like it just literally feeds through this first hole in the frame there. So I can hopefully pull this out in one go. There shouldn't be anything else in there. The socket should just follow through maybe, and I can see where someone's modified it with an extra cable here. So that's the thing I'm going to come up against, where people have chopped and altered it. But I've got a brand new reproduction loom to go in here, so I'm hoping obviously to put this all back to original. If I can get these blinking things through. I think there's a few looms in total. I've got the main loom. That's the one I'm going to be replacing. There we go. So that's that one there. What have we got here now? Yeah, it's quite a bird's nest in there. Then I've got this bit that goes down to, not sure what that does, if it's gearbox or whatever, I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. It might be the neutral switch. So take that one out there, it goes through the frame. Heading downwards. And then all you got then is the, by the looks of it, the back light, which, as you can see, someone's been in there. This loom's been well messed about with, and basically I think that's it. That's everything off. I'm going to keep that anyway because that's got the flasher unit on there, which I'll probably end up replacing as well. Then we've got the battery strap there, which is just a clip in there by the looks of it. So basically, as you can see, that's the frame. All this can be sandblasted now. Get all this old paint off. You can see where it's been hand painted basically, look. So that should all go back to original with the sandblaster. There's the old new sticker I've got to go on the front there as well. The frame number's on the other side, which you can see, so I'll just get that masked off. And yeah, so the frame looks actually straight. So that's that all stripped down now. 2 boxes of parts to refurbish and clean up and get ready. A lot of them literally are just a clean up job, so I'm quite happy with that. A lot of the nuts and bolts, when I do come to put things back together, I'll probably end up trying to source new nuts and bolts and split pins and all that sort of thing. So they'll all go back in. Things like the brake pads and things like brake shoes and all that, I'll have to obviously replace and repair. Air filters, anything which is a consumable. And when I come to strip the engine down, as I have to do, obviously the casings can be redone. I probably might get it rebored as well. I'll put new crank seals in it. Maybe I'll probably put new bearings in it as well, to be honest with you. And yeah, I've got to change these upper and lower cases, as you probably well know. So I've got a set of cases now for them, which I've had to source from Europe. And yeah, so that's it. So I know it's not a very long video, this one, folks, but we should be getting moving now. It's actually stripped down. I'll get this shipped off. We'll get that painted. We'll isolate and separate all the other black bits and that. Get them sandblasted as well. I can then get them painted or powder coated, the smaller bits. And yeah, there we go. So that's where we are with the Fizzy at the moment. Do keep tuned. If you haven't seen the start of this project, go back. I'll put a playlist down below there so you can see the whole playlist on this Fizzy. And let's get this thing back together, get it on the road, and let's get it trialled out and tested. Reliving my youth. Thanks very much, folks. See you in the next video, and until then, bye for now.